Welcome back to another episode of Vault Talks. I'm joined here today by my man Vic Patel. So me and Vic actually got connected. He's been handling some of the marketing for myself and my agency, doing a great job. But as I got to know Vic, he's got an interesting story. He's been building his company up over the past few years. So without further ado, here is the owner and founder of the Viewpoint Agency, Vic Patel.
How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're a good guest for the listeners to hear from. I mean, I know as we talk, you've done a great job of not only building your business but also your personal brand, and can probably teach the listeners a thing or two today. So, kind of just wanted to kick off, and obviously, the company you're running now is focused on marketing and media. But what got you into that? Did you always have a passion for it?
Yes, I really kicked things off with kinda, experimenting with more sound design. I was on GarageBand and later on gone to other softwares like FL Studio and stuff. So I was really diving into, that creative world, but I didn't just know at the time where it would lead me. So I picked up sound design. That was technically my first skill. In 11th grade, actually in 10th grade, I applied to go to Butler Tech, and that was like a risk of itself. And went to, in their digital media program. You had to apply, get interviewed, and everything. Luckily, I got in, and from there on out, in 11th grade, I started doing tutorials on Photoshop and all these Adobe apps, and really honed in and mastered the skills right then and there, 11th and 12th grade. And in that digital media and marketing program, I really found out that I was actually good at doing this. And
Hmm.
so I found the skill that I was really good at doing, and it came naturally. And from there, the sky was the limit, and I knew it myself. I had the confidence in me. And when you're learning a skill that comes very naturally to you, you'll know that you're meant to do this really quickly. And I took all the opportunities that were given to me at the time from the school. They let us take cameras home, and we could do our own little shoots with that. From there, I did grad pics. I gave all of my friends grad pics, charged them. That gave me enough money. I think it was about 5 grand at that
Okay.
time, which was an amazing amount of money for me. I invested in my first big boy camera. And from there, I went in college and kept going, honestly, after that.
I actually didn't know you got your start with grad parties. That's pretty awesome. And I do want to hear a little bit more about your background. So I know you're not originally from Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, so I'm actually from the East Coast. So I moved here around that same period of time, 7 years ago now. At that time, it was like 2019 era, 2020. So really just finishing up high school for me. Right now I'm 22. And basically from there, COVID happened. And I was like, holy crap, how am I supposed to make new friends, new connections when you just move from the East Coast to Cincinnati? You're like, holy shit, what the hell? You know? Back when I was in the New York area, it was just like I could have as many as friends as I want. I could literally take the subway and we'd like link up with 30 other guys.
Mm-hmm.
But that was actually one of the greatest things to happen to me because that isolation, that solitude that I had no choice of being in gave me enough time to actually develop my skills and hone into the craft. It didn't give me any distractions, no matter how much I wanted to have that friend group at the time. um, Not finding that at that era of my life was probably the best thing.
That's awesome. Yeah, just hearing your story. I mean, so once you bought your big boy camera, so to call it,
Mhm.
what happened from there? Where'd you take it?
So from my first big boy camera, which was I think it wasn't really a big boy camera at the time for me. It was technically RP. I did a lot of photo shoots. I did a lot of events. In 2023, I literally had the epiphany. Like I've done 1,000 events, but I did most of them for free. I wasn't really getting paid too much for doing them. But with that, it gave me so much portfolio experience. I could be like, "Oh, hey, I did 1,000 events this year. I clearly have enough experience to cover your next event." So it gave me the confidence, the skill. No matter how much skill you think you have, you could develop it 10x, 100x more. And from there, I really got my first big client, which was 20 grand. And actually was talking to our mutual friend Parker about it
Mhm.
yesterday, how I landed that big client because I've done 1,000 free events before. So now my name was circulating in rooms and groups that I wouldn't even knew existed at the time. And since my name had so much respect and, just, oh, if you get Vic, he'll do the job right. Boom. That that's how my first big win, I would say, in my books happened.
Absolutely. I think it shows the importance of just kind of paying your dues, right? Not a lot of people go out
Hmm.
there and shoot events for free, but I think you took it more of an opportunity to really hone in on your skills. I mean, now you have this large portfolio. Yeah, you
Hmm.
might not have got paid for it, but like you said, now your name's circulating and now you have the skills to really back up what you say.
Yeah. I mean, everyone who I work with now, I like try to, help them out, like go the extra mile. It's just incredible because I love working hand in hand with all these business owners. Sure, one of my clients could do 10 million in real estate revenue, and I might not be anywhere close to that right now. But because we're working so closely together sometimes and really achieving the goals that we want, uh, it's just that different level of respect I get from these owners. And they always talk about me because I'm really actually trying to hit the goal, and they could see that every single day that we work together.
Son, I noticed that firsthand when we worked together. So as I
Mhm.
mentioned,
I appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, Vic has been helping me with my marketing. First time around, it went good, but we wanted to make a couple of adjustments, and I mean, you just went above and beyond. Obviously, what we paid for versus what we got was probably 5x in value. And like you mentioned, yeah, are you leaving a little bit of revenue on the table at times? Maybe, but in the same token, I'm a big believer that referrals is how you really take off. And when you treat people right, you treat your clients the right way, the success is bound to follow. And I think you've started to see that firsthand. So first big client was about $20,000. What was that? 2024?
I think it was, yeah, the 2024 year. I didn't really have like structure or packages or anything like that, or a specific offer, I would say. And it was cool for getting that experience, building out a team, managing cost of equipment and rentals and things like that. And it really showed me what I was lacking at that time because sure, you could be like, oh, let me close a couple of jobs for 20K. But then again, you're gonna have to fulfill it, and that's a real part of the business that you have to figure out. So it's like it's a lot of live and you learn type
Yeah.
of stuff in business.
At this time, was it still just you, or had you already brought on some of your business partners?
I did have a business partner at the time. He went on to do more full-time work, and that's perfectly fine. You find an opportunity and you get there. But at the time, we weren't doing steady income or revenue. So perfectly understandable. But honestly, I just stick to that principle. If you keep going at something long enough, you will make it work. And honestly, I had a lot of people support me along the way, even though like most people say you shouldn't be seeking validation. It's nice when you could see around you and you're on the right path and other people are saying that you just got to keep going as well.
Yeah. We've went to Social House a few times. I mean, you have some great connections and a great network. Can you speak on how vital that network of yours is? I mean, a lot of people, obviously, yeah, you can create your own luck with a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, the most successful people usually get there through their relationships and their network. So, how have you
It
honed
is.
in on that aspect?
I really like to nurture my friendships. I don't really like networking. It's a buzzword and people have totally killed
Yeah.
it on social media. But it really is just end of the day, friendships that you can make. And in business, I really like to treat my clients as like friends almost. And other people might have other takes of it. But honestly, with how close and hand to hand that we have to work with people in especially my marketing agency, that's just how it is. And that's just how it has to be. If there's a specific person that I don't like working with, I really just won't take them as a client because honestly, it'll just make my life harder. But because I nurture the friendships and there's obviously going to be times where, our agency makes mistakes or something like that. It really opens the door with just a lot more forgiveness, as well as like us forgiving our clients if they're not setting or missing due dates or anything like that. But one thing about networking I do want to mention is the power of positioning. If you position yourself in a right way with amazing, tremendous value, and you present it to someone, that power of positioning is probably the most important thing you could do in networking, I would say.
Yeah, I love it. And hearing how now you're at a point where you're able to actually turn down clients. It's a pretty full circle moment because when you're starting out, I know probably similar to me, you're hungry. You want every client you can get. And then once you start to build up a good foundation, I mean, you've earned the right to say, "Hey, maybe we're not a good fit." You guys have really started to take off over the last few years. I mean, you're doing some work for Cincinnati Children's, right?
Yeah, so I mean, we had like an event with them recently, and then we had like a supercar event. There's a charity that I'm partnered up with. It's called Dad Quest Adventures. We actually did an event there last year, and we're doing a lot more work. We're supporting different organizations through our 501c, and we're hosting these supercar events. So we're not just a bunch of dudes driving around. We're a bunch of dudes driving around for a change. And that's honestly every single business owner that has a supercar that shows up to these events. They love to support this cause. And that's but one of the many events that we've been hosting in the past couple of years.
Been seeing some of those clips on Instagram. It's pretty awesome seeing some of those supercars and to know that it's for a good cause as well. I mean, you can't beat it. And I know me and you have talked a little bit about how you're trying to currently scale your personal brand
hmm
aside from the business. So
hmm
what's that journey been like?
So a lot of the scaling part for a personal brand, like especially if you don't have some large team, if I was someone uh, just starting out a business or a personal brand myself, I'd really like get to planning a lot more before shooting and don't use it as excuse to just wait. You need to pick up whatever camera you have, iPhone or whatever. So that's what I do, and that's what I did for myself and starting to. I'm testing a lot of new things, different formats and things like that. You really just have to record, test out, see what works and sticks, and see what doesn't, and keep going. That's what it is, and that's what it takes is to get a personal brand and let alone scale it. And you do want to scale it. You don't want to just post one thing one week and then wait for another post next week because what's the point at the end of the day? You have to keep taking action.
I know I'm guilty of it at times. It's easy to get fired up and say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get all these posts out there." And then you get one or two out and it maybe doesn't get the traction you hoped and, at the end of the day you just want to say fuck it and throw up the towel. I think a lot of people deal with that, it's the social media trend that we're in nowadays, all the short form content, they see somebody's life on TikTok or Instagram and they think, "Oh, well I can't grow a personal brand because I'm not as, cool as this person," or whatever they want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's just putting yourself out there, being authentic, and consistency beats everything at the end of the day.
It does. Yeah.
Since you're working with so many small business owners, I'm sure we have a few people that are listening that maybe they either have started their own small business or it's a goal of theirs. What are some characteristics you've seen in businesses that succeed versus those that maybe don't?
Specifically, I'll talk about like home services and mainly blue collar like trades. I'd say like a lot of blue collars, like if you don't do marketing, that's probably the biggest step most home services businesses could take right now. Yes, there's a lot of marketing agencies out there that will be like, oh, let me get you a website for $300 a month. I'll I'll upkeep your stuff. And most of the time it's like, are you really upkeeping something? Or are you just taking a extra payment when the services you provide only cost like about $90 a month? That's what it is most of the time, and then they wonder why their marketing agency isn't working. You really need someone local. Some of these marketing agencies will meet with you like once a month or twice a month. I really like to meet multiple times a month just so we have the confidence that we're getting our results and just really that communication. Because with business, there's never not anything not to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's
Yep.
always something to do in a business. That's why we like to work so closely with our clients.
What stuck out to me is I think a lot of people that are maybe starting their own venture or starting their own small business, they try to wear too many hats. I know I've been guilty of it in the past too. It's like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing on Facebook. I don't need help with, marketing." At the end of the day, you have to bring in people that are experts at what they do. If you're running your small business and you're really good at bringing in sales, finding new prospects, you focusing on marketing is just going to take away from what you're good at. So
Mhm.
I know small business owners starting out, you might not have a ton of cash flow and a ton of profit, but don't look at that as a negative. I mean, the only way to truly grow that is to bring in the right people. And I've seen that firsthand when we brought you in the marketing department.
Yeah, there's a lot of different departments, and most of the time, business owners just have that ego of I could like handle all of these things. But honestly, if you bring in specialized people, you could save a lot of time. Sure, it's a money investment, and that's real. It's real. Like I could test out this marketing agency, throw $1,000, and what if it doesn't end up working out? That's why really you got to know the integrity of a person as well as what you've heard about a person, the reputation. That's what I would say, like, when I'm personally hiring an employee or even bringing on another, like, mentor for my agency, which is very real in marketing agencies, like, we'll have our own mentors too, or consultants, because there's always things that I could develop in and always things that I could keep learning and scaling my business because I don't wanna stay steady in business. But realistically, sometimes it's more like a bar graph going up and down, but there's only one direction we wanna go, and that's up, and so I'll take that risk every single time.
It's all about taking risks, and I totally agree that it's not a linear path. I mean, if you're starting your own business and you think,
Mhm,
"Oh, in a year we're gonna be taking off," I think, you gotta temper your expectations, you gotta never get too high, never get too low. At the end of the day, you always gotta be hungry. You always gotta want more. You can't get complacent.
mhm. No, literally, and that's my motto.
I love it. So we've heard a little bit about Viewpoint and what you guys have cooking. My question for you would be, where do you see that going over the next 5 years? What's your goals?
So I started Viewpoint, now thinking, looking back a little bit, honestly, we used to do weddings and stuff and, more storytelling initiatives and things like this, and now we're more, like, result focused with our clients, as well as keeping that storytelling aspect of it. But with Viewpoint, I intend to keep Viewpoint. I want to work on it for years. In the next 5 years, I want to keep Viewpoint as a backbone for other business ventures that I want to do. And then still going to do more marketing base and keep growing our client portfolio and just work with people that want to just grow incredible brands nationwide. So that's where I see Viewpoint in the next 5 years, just a team of killers just in marketing and becoming literally the top dogs. If you have a crazy campaign that you want to rival Nike in, I want to be able to help out with that. I want to be able to help out with D2C brands, especially now there's so many new brands coming up. The barrier to entry is super low. That's why the barrier to success is going to be very high. So you bring in Viewpoint, we'll help you out with that. We'll grow your brand to 100 million plus, or even if you want to hit a billion. That's what I
I
want to
love it.
have Viewpoint, as well as the real threat of there's just too many AI apps. It's a buzzword now. There's softwares coming out all the time because everyone can make it. Not enough marketing agencies or marketers to market it. It's going to take a very, very good skill set to advertise now on social media and stuff. So we're going to use new tactics, new storytelling series on social media and stuff, and just ride that wave for the next 5 years, really.
You showed me a little bit about it when we went through our ad creative process. I mean, just to tell the listeners, before I got connected with Vic, we were just running a very simple Facebook ad. And to be 100% honest with you, if I scrolled across it on my feed, I'd probably think it was AI created and I'd probably just skip right over it. So Vic made me reevaluate, and we ended up shooting, a little 45-second clip where you could see me, hear from me. And nowadays, just telling a story and having a face behind your words, it carries weight. It's actually easier to stand out now that AI's taken off because a lot of the people using it are just taking a shortcut.
Yeah. Here's the contrarian aspect to, quality work and stuff. So yeah, you might have you've had like just a shitty ad created reel, right? So then we like gave you something a little bit more personable, but here's the contrarian take as well that, you know, great marketers have to acknowledge this. It's never really about the quality. It that comes after. It's really just if you can connect to someone at a human level. I literally saw a guy in this educational space. His name is Iman Gadzi, and some of you might be familiar, some of you might not. But Iman Gadzi, he has amazing quality and he has amazing like personal brand that he's had the help from his friend creating. But then there's another smaller creator that I know, which most of you probably haven't heard of, but he literally has the same exact quality as Iman, does very similar stuff in the education space as him, but he has a lot lower of followers. He doesn't get as many views, and he's been in the game for a similar amount of time. But really, it's just Iman was able to tell his story on YouTube and really connect with his audience at a much more deeper level than him. That no matter now what they do in terms of quality, video ideas, or anything, Iman will always have that brand around him, and that is invaluable. No matter what businesses Iman does now, he has such a respected personal brand that any room he walks in, someone has heard of him. That's the true power of a really good personal brand where you could connect with your audience.
And I know you do a great job of it. I've been trying to take some pointers. So
Mhm.
if the listeners are curious, we'll shout out Vic's Instagram at the end of this so you guys can go find him. But kind of to wind things down, I want to talk less about business and more just to you as a person, Vic. I mean, you're 22 years old. I'd consider you to be very successful. What's some advice you have, maybe not necessarily just for a business owner, but just for somebody who's young and hungry like you?
Yeah. So, I mean, take it as advice or take it as a warning because this is what I was thinking of. And a lot of my friends that are multimillionaires, they're all pretty much thinking about this now. We are at a period of time where the window of success is closing at the moment. That's a given. The gap between someone that's thinking about entrepreneurship and that are actively doing it but haven't reached that success level yet is actually enormous. Because this is why I say this, it's easier for anyone to start a business now. But if you don't have the skills prior, like marketing maybe or sales or even just awareness of what to do in business, you're going to be left behind. This is literally, you're going to be left behind. You could work a salary job. That's cool. You're going to be chasing a salary job for the rest of your life. But if you're doing business or thinking about it, you need to take it very seriously right now because 2026, we're in July now, July 1st. Um, the next 6 months are really going to identify who really wants it and doesn't. By 2027, unfortunately, it's going to get really hard to make a successful business because a lot of other people are doing it and it's a lot easier to do. So it's going to take a very high level of skill to really stick out from other businesses and owners, and that's just how it is. The playing field has raised the bar tremendously.
Yeah, I'd even add to it that, a lot of people wait for the perfect time, right? There's never a perfect time to start. And no matter what your goals are, whether it's a side hustle or a full time business, maybe it's real estate, whatever the case, the only way to learn is to just jump head first in. You might fail. I'm sure you had some failures along the way, but the lessons that you learned from those failures, that's the reason you're successful today. I mean, I truly believe you learn more from failures than you do from your wins.
I do. In 2025, I feel like I had so many failures, like what if moments in my life where if I did this and this and this on time, I would have secured something even crazier, like $100,000 client in one go. And because I didn't, it actually taught me very important lessons. Don't half-ass shit. Don't half-ass anything you do. If you half-ass it, chances are most likely it's not gonna work, and even if it does work, maybe you could have gotten a bigger reward if you did actually put in all of your investment and effort into it. I've half-assed a lot of stuff in 2025, and that's why whatever I do, I try to go all in at it now, even the personal brand, because if you half-ass it, you're going to come to the end of the year and not hit any of your goals, and you're going to have that epiphany moment right now. Let me save you all that time. Don't half-ass anything you do.
That's great advice, man. One of my favorite quotes is everybody must choose one of two pains, either the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Whatever you're doing, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have trials, tribulations, things are going to work, things are not. But the whole goal is to be able to look back one day and say, man, I did everything that I could and it still didn't work, if that's the case. But I'm willing to bet that if you look at every day as an opportunity to get better and to grow whatever you're doing, you're going to look back in time and say, man, I'm happy I had the discipline to fight through the shit I didn't want to do in order to get this reward at the end, whatever that reward might be for you.
Yeah. There's also the sales aspect. Like a lot of people that might be watching this also do sales and they have to like hit a couple wins and stuff like that. And most of the time when you just haven't had a win in so long, I'm just saying, don't get discouraged because once you have another W, you will have enough fuel to chase the next W. So keep going.
Can't get too high and can't get too low. Got to ride the
Hmm.
wave. The life of a business owner. I'm sure you experience it
It
every
is.
other week. I hope to bring you
Yeah.
back here in a couple months. We're not going to get into it because it's still under the wraps, but you're working on another business venture. I think it's freaking awesome.
Hmm.
We're not going to share anything there until the deal's done, but I look forward to bringing you back in a few months and kind of sharing what else you've been building.
It's gonna be incredible, and I'm gonna definitely get to the goal that we talked about. I don't wanna publicly say it, but, hopefully I could hit it or even get close to that, and it's just going to be amazing because let's put the proof in the pudding, right? So,
Yep, give the listener a little teaser, but I'll definitely be bringing Vic back on, and I mean, we'll just share with you guys if he did hit the goals and how it went. I'm teeing it up a little bit to hopefully get you to keep on
that's gonna
coming
be
back and
awesome.
listening to more.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
appreciate your time. Where can the listeners come find you, whether it's your personal brand or your business?
Yeah, so on Instagram, _Vic Patel, also my agency page, Viewpoint Agency. So if you're interested in becoming a client of ours in the future, just give us a DM or viewpointagency.org on our website and you could fill out our form there.
Brilliant. Well, I highly recommend you guys check him out. Vic's 22 years old and he's killing the game. Get
Sure.
in rooms that you don't feel comfortable in and just always keep striving for the higher things. Appreciate your time today, Vic. I think this was a great one for them to hear. And again, I'm JT Miller, joined by Vic Patel, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Vault Talks.